Greetings and welcome to the Haiku Pond, a place to ponder life through haiku. My name is Anthony, and I'm the caretaker of the pond. Each season, I share haiku written by myself and others. Each episode features haiku centered around a pre-chosen theme. You can learn more at anthonynanfito.com/haiku. If you're ready, let's prepare for our visit. Take a deep breath and dive in. The theme for this visit is uncertainty, and will feature haiku written by myself and others. A message brings news. The news changes everything. Uncertain future. I started the first season of the Haiku Pond to share the lessons I had learned from the pandemic. Well, I'm still learning lessons as the world transitions into a post-pandemic state of being. The one thing I've struggled with the most lately, over the last several months, is uncertainty. I suppose uncertainty has always been around, but the pandemic put it in the spotlight. It highlighted just how uncertain and random things in life can be. I typed these thoughts on a technological device my Paleolithic ancestors probably could only dream of, if at all. But the emotions of these ancestors still swirl around in my mind as I attempt to process the uncertainty of a 21st century pandemic and the uncertainty that's been highlighted because of it. Some days, I'm not sure how to step forward. I try to remind myself to be mindful and grateful, especially when I think about the uncertainty our ancestors must have faced. They had to deal with diseases, famine, weather, and many more dangers, all without the modern technological knowledge and power we have today. To them, I must live the life of a deity, perched up high in my climate-controlled apartment, able to fend off diseases with an injection of a vaccine, able to order meals with the tap of a screen, no hunting required. And yet, there are days where these Paleolithic primal emotions bubble up inside of me. Adrenaline and cortisol pump through my veins. Fear puts me on defense. What was that rumbling noise? A saber-toothed tiger on the balcony? Or a motorcycle on the street? What about that loud banging noise? Thunder of an approaching storm? Or the slamming of an apartment door? Some of these questions have obvious answers, but others do not. Will I still have my job in 6 months? Will my partner still be around in a year? Will my parents make it past their next birthday? Will a COVID variant cause another global shutdown? The uncertainty of life is ever present, but we must find a way to cope with it. For if we don't, we live in an unhealthy state of primal fear that puts us in a Paleolithic place, unable to deal with the problems right in front of us. For me, I've been approaching my emotions by remembering the acronym RAIN, R-A-I-N. It stands for recognize the emotion, allow them to come to fruition, don't fight, block, or ignore them. Investigate where you feel them in the body, and nurture yourself when they pass. I first heard this from Dr. Maya Shankar on an episode of the podcast A Slight Change of Plans. If you're looking to learn from an insightful behavioral scientist to explain how to cope with change and uncertainty, her podcast is a great place to start. I've only been practicing this rain style of mindfulness for a short time, so it's still new to me. But I can see the effect of it. Before, when I would bottle emotions up or ignore them altogether, they found a way to come out, either through poor eating choices or a snarky remark to a loved one. You see, we can't change everything in the external world, but we can change our inner world. It starts with accepting the uncertainty that's ever present and practicing mindfulness when it comes to our emotions, thoughts, and feelings. That's the lesson I'm still learning from this haiku and the world we live in. If you have a strategy for dealing with uncertainty, send an email to thehaikupond@gmail.com. I'd love to hear what's working for you. Next, let's hear some of our submissions for this theme. From David Thorndale on Instagram as David Thorndale. In Yamagata, which is farther, my lover or the Milky Way? From Zahra Mughis on Twitter as ZahraScribbles and Instagram as instalogbyzahra. Ticking clock, crowd's eyes on last year's hero. From Mona Bedi. Lightning, now I see you, now I don't. From Lisbeth Ho on Facebook as Elisabeth Holidaya. Teardrops fall on to the seashore, autumn blues. From huwanahoy on Twitter and Instagram as huwanahoy. Misread all the signs, no wandering this path in blur, the end uncertain. From Haiku Nocturnal on Twitter as Haiku Nocturnal. Time to leave the nest. Fledgling doesn't get to choose when they are ready. From Linda Sacco on Twitter as Linda Sacco 1. My dystopia, mirrored lips and faint smiles, lies beneath the mask. From Tristan Woodington on Twitter as aquaholic_anon. A deft touch of grass, lamenting in the pasture. I hope this will pass. From Carissa Hoyman on Twitter as Carissa Hoyman. An approaching storm. The captain's tension rises for the correct course. From Christina Chin at haikuzyg.blogspot.com. Online classes adjusting to the new norm. From Charlotte Reynolds on Twitter as Violet Vicinity. Daily chores, my thoughts hang on the washing line. From Mark Heatree on Twitter as HeatreeMark and on Instagram as _cello poet. We seek mystery. When we embrace the unknown, all will be revealed. From Linda M. Crate on Twitter as Thy Silver Doe and on Instagram as author Linda M. Crate. Arriving at sea, diving into the water, sharks or mermaids sing. From Full Poetry on Instagram as Full Poetry. Lack of direction, unsure about moving on, lost intimacy. From Melody Wong on Twitter and Instagram as Melody of Musings. The sea motivates with salt-purged waves, gentle lulls, and agitation. Thanks for visiting the Haiku Pond. To read the featured haiku and connect with the featured poets, check out the show notes in the description of this episode. If you've been inspired by what you've heard, please share the show with a friend. For podcast updates, join the mailing list at haikupond.ck.page. For inquiries, send an email to thehaikupond@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow the podcast on Twitter @thehaikupond. Thanks for listening. See you next time.